get two of those?
Fringe is like anything goes. They often do their little free performance to entice you in. Tell you a little bit about the Royal Mile. It runs from the castle royal residence for a very long time down to the palace at the foot of the street.
Scotland.
Reformation in 1560. Knox had been very influenced by Calvin. He was a young Catholic priest. He thought the church had become very corrupt. Some might say they threw the baby out with the bathwater because all the colour went out. You know, all the lovely festivals and the saints' days, out. Anyway, Knox was the head of all that. There's so deep suspicion that somewhere somebody's having a good time, and it's not you. You're filming me. I hope you're using this for your own purposes because it's copyright, you know. Had a nickname, Old Reeky, meaning Old Smoky, Old Reeky, because of all the smoke belching out of the chimneys.
And now our guest of honour will be escorted to meet the Lone Piper, Corporal Ryan Gonzalez from Black Watch, the 3rd Battalion, the Royal Regiment of Scotland, will give our guest of honour a greeting in Scottish Gaelic and a toast in good Scotch whisky. 100,000 welcomes to you all to the city of Edinburgh, to the castle. A long, happy life and peace to you all. Health to the Queen, health to you all.
1707, the Parliament all went down to Westminster. Didn't need to worry about English invasions. They were able to build out with the city walls. North Bridge constructed across the chasm in the 1770s. The early new town, 3 parallel streets, Princess Street, Queen Street and George Street, culminating in this lovely Georgian square. This is a statue of George IV. Only the wealthy people could move here. It's lovely dressed stone, because that's where the family lived in the house, and above the servants. Now the ground floor you would find the dining room. The kitchen of course would be in the basement. The first floor would be your drawing room. The lamp fittings are gas lighting. Queen Victoria thought chloroform was a jolly good idea. I mean, she had a lot of children. She knighted him. He became Sir James Simpson. He lived right here. One day the maid went into the room and they were all under the table unconscious, and she must have thought they'd been at the sherry. Einstein is quoted as saying, "I stand on the shoulders of Newton and Maxwell." That's him on the right with his colour wheel, his colour theory, electromagnetic wave. And here we are now on Princess Street. Scott more or less single-handedly invented the historical fiction genre, attracted by Jacobite period when Scotland was trying to bring the Stuarts back to the throne. And there's a statue of him with his dog Maidie, his Irish deerhound. Princess Street Garden had a loch in it. It was water. They drained the loch. Looking at is the back of the buildings on the Royal Mile. So we're going to stop here and have a little walk down Park the Royal Mile, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the medieval city once we get our whispers going. Kind of hugger-mugger, rich, teeming life of the old town. If you were wealthy, it would have been nice enough, but the windows were small, the walls were thick, and there wasn't a lot of light getting in.
We all know how heavy water is. Up the stairs, whoever you lived, they just queued up and had a good old chinwag while they were at it. Close is like an alleyway, and on either side of us, the ground slopes down. When you go behind, another 4 or 5 stories. The wealthy and the poor lived in the same close, but the wealthy people would have rooms in a rather area part of the building, maybe the first floor. The poor people would be right at the very top or down in the cellar. This building was much higher, and it was stuffed to the gunnels. It collapsed in the middle of the night. There were a lot of people killed. The rescuers thought they'd pulled everybody out, and they were just going away, when they heard a faint voice shouting, "Heave away, lads! I'm not dead yet!" His name was Joseph McIver. That is his head. Edinburgh was full of publishing houses. First New Testament printing just next to this close. This building here was a sedan garage. People got about in medieval Edinburgh. If they had money, they could be carried by 2 hefty Highlanders, one at each end of a pole, and in the middle of the pole was a little box. Climbed in the box, sat down, and you were carted around. Medieval craft had their own special buildings and their own special saint. This was the headquarters of the cordoners. The crown represents St. Crispin, and the handle and the curved blade. That was the cutting instrument that cut the leather from Cordova. They were making lovely soft leather shoes. The Holbooth building has a tower which dates from the 1500s. The clock is 19th century. Come down to where I'm standing and you look up at the side of the tower, symbol of pilgrims and Christianity. It comes from the medieval belief that those shells would keep off the evil spirit. Lovely view of the Cannongate Kirk. There's a cross in the centre of the stag's head. David I was out hunting. He was after a stag round in this area. He fell off his horse and the stag turned on him, thinking it was hour had come. Cross out of his pocket that his mother had given him, held it up, and the stag ran away. And in gratitude, he was going to build a house dedicated to the Holy Cross. And Rood means cross. That's how we have Holy Rood.
The National Museum Selection Centre houses state-of-the-art facilities for conservation, taxidermy and academic research. Was formed in 2006 with the merger of Museum of Scotland and the adjacent Royal Scottish Museum.
significant turbulence as soon as we go through? Is it safe to be standing here?
I hope not. I hope it's not that bad.